The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests do not state or reflect those of the movement. Sa history, marami ang nalilito kung ano ba ang tunay, ano ba ang kwento. Pakinggan natin ang mga dalubhasa. Intindihin ang kasalukuyan sa pag-aaral ng nakaraan. Tayo na't makilahok sa ating talakayan. Ito ang Historyl, ang katotohanan sa ating kasaysayan at lipunan. Magandang gabi sa aming tagapakinig. Welcome sa isang episode ng Historyl, ang katotohanan sa ating kasaysayan at lipunan. Napaka-espesyal po ng ating episode na ito dahil ito ang ating unang-unang podcast episode. Kaya ngayong gabi, napagdesisyon na namin na pag-usapan ang origin ng high school Philippine history movement. What better way to start our podcast than to discuss the origins of the movement that we are advocating. At para samahan ako sa ating diskusyonan ngayong gabi, narito po ang Pangulo ng High School Philippine History Movement na isang araling panlipunan teacher for 9 years. Walang iba kundi si Ginoong Jamaico Ignacio. Good evening, sir!
Good evening, Kevin. Magandang hapon o magandang gabi sa lahat ng mga tagapagkinig natin. We're very grateful for all of you who are listening to us right now. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Thank you. Salamat po sa ating mga tagapakinig. Salamat din, Sir Jamaico, for indulging our request to do this interview for the first podcast. Now, lingid sa kaalaman ng ating mga tagapakinig, nauna po sa akin ang Philippine High School Movement. In fact, I only heard about it a few years ago. So, and I'm very much aware na this movement has been happening even before I've heard of it. Which is why, I myself, ako mismo na inyong host ay medyo hindi pa masyadong pamilyar kung ano nga ba ang sinimulan, ano nga ba ang history, ang origin ng ating movement. So, siguro, Sir Jamaico, pwede nating ikwento sa ating mga giliw na tagapakinig kung paano nga ba nagsimula ang ating kilusan, ang ating advocacy. Ano yung mga nag-trigger, sino siguro yung mga unang kasapi. And saan, no? Kung merong lugar, saan ba na-conceive itong idea na ito? So, magkwento ka nga, Sir Jamaico.
Thank you very much, Kevin, for that one. Paano nga ba nagsimula yung ating movement? Well, we have to understand first, what's the core objective of the movement? Ano ba ang pinakapunto o pinakalayunin ng High School Philippine History Movement? At makikita mo na rin yun ng pahapyaw sa ating pangalan, sa pangalan ng ating movement, High School Philippine History. Ninanais natin na ibalik yung High School Philippine History as a dedicated subject, yung Philippine History sa high school araling panlipunan. Bakit? Nawala siya sa High School Philippine History, sa high school curriculum. Paano nangyari yun? Nagsimula yun mga 2014. That was my second year of teaching. Naalala ko yun. Kasagsagan yun ng K-12. At kung babalikan ninyo, 2014, that's a year into the implementation of K-12. Ngayon, as an araling panlipunan teacher during the implementation of K-12, babad ako sa mga curriculum guide na pinapadala ng DepEd sa mga public at private school teachers. So, kung ano man ibigay ni principal sa akin na K-12 document, babasahin ko yon. Kailangan kong suriin yon, busisiin yon. Ngayon, 2014, second year of implementation of the K-12, may isang seminar akong dinaluhan at kasama ko noon ang ngayon Secretary General ng ating High School Philippine History Movement, si Earl Carlo Cruz. We attended this seminar na hinandle ng FAPE, ng kumbaga ito yung arm ng Department of Education, kapartner ng Department of Education na nagfa-fund ng maliliit na private schools. Okay? Now, when we went to this seminar of FAPE, kakibat kasi ng seminar na yon ay isang in-service training para sa mga private school teachers bilang paghahanda sa K-12. Ngayon, nung una kasi binigay sa amin yung curriculum guide ng Araling Panlipunan, yung Philippine History, nasa grade 7 siya. Okay? Siya ay kasama ng grade 7. Ngayon, noon sa kasagsagan ng aming training, binigyan kami ng panibagong curriculum guide. At nung sinilip namin yung curriculum guide, nagulat kami. Yung dating grade 7 Philippine History, naging Asian History siya. Tapos yung grade 8 na dating Asian History, naging World History. Yung grade 9, naging Economics. Yung grade 10, naging Contemporary Issues. Nung sinisilip namin yung mga curriculum guide, hindi man lang nabanggit ang kasaysayan ng Pilipinas doon sa mga core competencies, doon sa mga content o mga paksa ng curriculum guide na binigay sa amin noong 2014. Kaya doon na-realize o doon natanto ng aming mga kasamahan, lalo na yung mga veteran master teachers na ketagal-tagal nagtuturo ng Philippine history, na wala na sa curriculum guide ng high school Araling Panlipunan ang pagtuturo ng Philippine history. At maraming master teachers na kasama namin na nandoon sa seminar na yon na naghinagpist, nagalit, nabuisit because they've been teaching Philippine history for how many decades. And if you're going to look at educational history, kasama yung Philippine history sa secondary curriculum ever since the American colonial era. So, panong-panangkano, tinuturo yung Philippine history sa high school level. At nung nalaman yun ng mga tao, tinanong ng mga tao yung trainers namin doon sa FAPE, doon sa seminar namin, bakit tinanggal yung Philippine history sa AP curriculum. At naglabas ng sama na loob yung mga master teachers. Ang naging tugon tuloy ng mga trainers noon, their response was, pasensya na po, hindi namin alam. Yan din po kasi yung binabasa amin.
Naku, malaking problema yan. Para mahirap yung trainer mo mismo ang hindi alam kung bakit. I mean, di ba? You just hand it there. So, walang sasagot, no? Talaga namang, di lalo po siguro nagalit yung mga master teachers natin.
Nagalit. May isang veteranang teacher nga nun eh. Feel ko ilang dekada na siya nagtuturo. Nung binanggit ng trainer namin yun, pulang-pula yung mukha niya. Sabi niya, wala man lang paliwanag. Yan lang ba masasagot niyo sa amin? Kaya doon, nagpumiglas yung mga kasamaang kong guro. So after that, 2014, then going into 2015, there are various groups that suddenly express their dismay. Nakiride sila dito sa dismay sa pagtanggal ng Philippine history. And some of these groups include anti-K-12 groups, like the, if I'm not mistaken, yung pangalan ng grupong yon, Abolish K-12 Coalition. That's number one. Yung isa pa, isang left-leaning progressive group, yung pangalan nito, yung League of Filipino Students. So, various K-12, anti-K-12 groups use that one action as a means to advocate for the abolition of the K-12. Okay, so although I'm one of those teachers that applauded their actions, but I'm also part of that group of teachers. Kasama ako dun sa mga grupo ng teachers na medyo nakikita rin namin yung kagandahan ng K-12 on certain aspects. Okay?
Right.
Kaya ako at yung ibang mga co-teachers ko na nakakausap ko during that time, hindi namin magawang sumali dun sa mga pagkikilos nila, mga movements nila kasi may mga iba silang pinaglalaban na we don't necessarily agree. So I think nangyari doon, na-divide yung power, na-divide yung mga pananaw ng mga teachers, yung mga more progressive teachers at yung mga tulad ko, yung mas moderate centrist teachers. So I think there was a division. Kaya dahil doon, medyo nawala-wala ng kaunti yung powers ng teachers. Up until more recently, 2018, I started this petition, a Change.org petition, because I don't think their movement is going anywhere. Kaya nagsimula ako ng petition sa Change.org that advocated the return of Philippine history without necessarily advocating any other educational or political issues. Ang focus lang ay yung pagbabalik ng kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, makabuluhang pag-aaral ng kasaysayan ng Pilipinas sa high school, junior high school at senior high school. And it called Congress and other related agencies such as DepEd, NHCP, etc. to take this into consideration. Dinamay ko na silang lahat. While making that petition, doon rin nagsimula yung pagbuo ng high school Philippine history movement. I started this Facebook page that supported that petition. It is a professional, centrist, Filipiniana-based petition na naglalayong ibalik yung pag-aaral ng kasaysayan ng Pilipinas sa high school. At nung una, inisip ko baka maliit lang to, mahinang movement lang to, baka ako lang talaga yung nagsusulong nito alongside my other fellow teachers. At biglang gulat ko, pagpatak ng 2019, nung sinimulan ko yung Facebook page at petition, lumubo! From a few hundred, naging 20,000, na naging 30,000, na up until recently, naging 57,000. Lumubos na.
Tama. Almost 60, ano?
Yeah, on its way to 60. So, it impresses upon me na marami talaga sumusuporta dito. And later on, nagulat ako, bigla na lang, minemessage yung group page namin ng Rappler, ng GMA News, ng One News TV, iba't ibang mga media agencies that wanted to hear our side. And it just goes to show na there is a desire to return Philippine history in the high school because may side effects talaga to. At lo and behold, 2020 to 2021, we grew so big that we had a General Assembly which included and invited potential officers such as myself and yourself, and we had an election, and the rest is history. Nagkaroon tayo ng organized movement to advocate for the return of high school Philippine history. Na ngayon, we're attempting to talk to Congress. We're trying to make ourselves SEC-registered and at the same time pursuing other projects. And I'm really glad where we're heading. Mukhang maka-Pilipino itong proyekto natin.
Actually, the General Assembly itself is, I think, is considered a milestone by the fact na nagkaroon tayo ng mga unang officers. We were able to elect our own officers. We are starting to have an organized movement for this advocacy. It's a milestone, especially that happened. This whole idea started 2014. That was 7 years, no? Na 7 years, 2014. So pinalitan yung tinanggal apparently ang Philippine history sa curriculum ng high school. All right? So lilinawin natin yun, high school, baka may magtanong na ibang mga tao. And that's 7 years na parang walang dedicated high school curriculum for our students, no? Malinaw rin naman na hindi naman natin gustong buwagin ang K-12 with all the work that has already been given to it, no? Siguro yung tinkering lang o yung pag-aayos lang ng curriculum. Medyo lang ako, no? Medyo parang curious ako eh. So 2014 walang Philippine history and sa high school rather, or at least yung dedicated na year level, kasi sasabihin na iba integrated naman, 'di ba? Na paunti-unti ipinapasok natin sa tuturo ng ibang mga sibilisasyon ang Philippine history. Pero I think iba yung effect kung meron tayong dedicated na year level for Philippine history sa high school. And 7 years na ito'y wala sa high school. Ano kaya, sir, yung maaring mga naging epekto nito dun sa batch na yun, yung 7 taon na nag-undertake nung curriculum na yun?
Alam mo, before, bago pa mawala yung Philippine history sa high school, alam ko nang mahina yung Philippine history education natin. Before it was removed, I believe it should be strengthened. Pero pagpatak ng 2014, imbis na palakasin mo, tinanggal mo.
Okay.
Nagka-problema. Kaya kung sisilip kayo, say for example, doon sa comment sections ng mga Facebook post na nagsusulong ng disinformation about history, yung mga sinusulong na si Rizal daw ay si Jack the Ripper, or si Rizal daw ay tatay ni Hitler, akalain mo it's so silly, nobody would believe it. And when you see in the comment section, may mapapawaw, may maniniwala talaga na totoo yung mga pinagsusulat doon sa mahabang comments na yon na matatagpuan mo lamang doon sa random Facebook pages o random Reddit pages o kung ano man YouTube video na lumabas yan na pinaniniwalaan ng mga kabataan. Ang nakakalungkot doon, wala na nga lantarang pinakikitang sources o sanggunaan attached doon, pinaniniwalaan pa rin. So, kinikilatis ng mga bata natin ito. Well, not all. There are some who are very critical. But there are those who might need Philippine history as a means of reinforcement, discourse. Ang problema kasi, kung hindi natin napapractice ang kabataan sa critical thinking through Philippine history, they will be susceptible to this information, lalo't lalo na sa, shall we say, political and historical discourse. And it could affect a lot of things. Say, for example, yung halalan, it could warp our understanding who should we vote for. And that has massive consequences in the future. Philippine history has a major contribution on public discourse. Kung mali-mali, and worse, miseducated, dahil mali yung pag-iisip mo patungkol sa kasaysayan, iniisip mo, ay, ang galing-galing pala ng politikong ito, yung pala marami siyang pinapatay or etc. Dahil marami kang pinagpapaniwalang post sa Reddit or sa Facebook na wala namang substantial evidence or primary secondary sources, mawawarp yung thinking mo, which could result to that person being elected, which can be very, very problematic.
That's right. No?
Yeah.
That's right. In fact, I think it is very important to understand how the history of something or someone works, and it's not really about learning the dates. Hindi yung kailangan natin matutunan yung mga pangyayari, kailan nangyari, saan nangyari, sino-sino ang mga kasangkot sa mga pangyayaring ito. Siguro ang isang tinuturo sa atin ng kasaysayan ay ano ba yung tama o mali? Paano ba natin dapat pagnilayan ang mga bagay-bagay, no? Na these events are not isolated. Something happened before that affected these events, and because these events are a result of something that happened before, meron tong patutunguhan . And disinformation becomes powerful nowadays, no? Yung distortion ng kasaysayan plus fake news they go hand in hand . Pag nagtulungan itong mga bagay na ito, mahirap talaga, lalo na kung hindi equipped, no? Kung hindi equipped ang ating mga mamamayan, lalo na ang ating mga kabataan na kung kailan na-form pa lang nila yung kanilang mga opinion at kanilang mga kaalaman, no?
Tama.
Kaya talagang ako nakikita ko yung sa mga paliwanag ninyo, nakikita ko yung kahalagahan nitong ating advocacy. In fact, nabasa ko yung mga Jack the Ripper na Jack the Ripper na. Ako mahilig kasi ako din sa mga urban legend na yan, pero for entertainment. I mean,
Yeah.
Bilang isang, I teach literature, I teach English, magandang magbasa ng mga ganyan. Pero, di ba, dapat alam mo na pag binasa mo siya, urban legend siya. Di ba? Kumbaga siya walang katotohanan, katang-isip lamang, produkto lamang ng imahinasyon. Pero nakakagulat na meron tayong may mga readers, no, mga kababayan na naniniwala. And hindi nila kasalanan. Hindi nila kasalanan. There is a greater system that could have helped, na nakatulong kung na palakasin ang critical thinking. Pero minsan ganoon may mga bagay na hindi naman sila ang may control. 'Di ba? And apparently, yung mga may control ay mahirap kunin ang kanilang atensyon. Kaya maganda na meron tayong ganito. Na siguro at least mapipick up na ng mga taong ito yung attention na kailangan natin. And speaking of present, no, dahil ang history it's also it's not just a study of the past, it's an analysis of the past para malaman natin ano nga ba yung dahilan bakit tayo naririto, no? And speaking of the present, ano ba yung mga current activities ng ating movement? So para ano ba yung mga current yung mga nakalatag na aktibidades natin para siguro sa buwan na to, sa taon na ito?
Well, we have actually 3 major points. May 3 tayong tinitingnan ngayon na major activity for the short term kasi yun yung priority natin. Make no mistake, marami pa tayong pinaplano, pero ito yung pinaka target natin for the short term. Una, may mga iba't ibang mga webinars at saka mga pa-online art gallery yung ating mga youth officers. Nakakatuwa yung movement natin. It attracted a lot of high school students, college students who are willing to join this advocacy. Headed by the Vice President for Youth Affairs, si Robert Blanza. Natutuwa ako dun sa marami nilang mga proyekto para sa ating adhikain. Itong mga webinars at mga online galleries, mga pa-contest nila, I think it will be helpful targeting other youth to join our cause, our advocacy, to see the importance of Philippine history. So yun, may mga youth events, that's number 1. Number 2, SEC registration. Through the effort of our Vice President for Professional Affairs, si Sir Eman Kaliwan, we hope to be registered, SEC registered, so that we'll be able to have legal representations, lalo na kapag tayo ay makipag-usap sa Kongreso para at least meron tayong legal entity to stand on. Mahalaga kasi na ma-recognize tayo bilang functioning entity upang mas makita yung recognition na tayo isang opisyal na samahan. Okay, that's number 2. At pangatlo, number 3, the lobbying process itself. With the help of our government engagement director, si Sir Joey, hopefully we'll be able to contact congressmen and senators to lobby our position paper and our draft curriculum na magsusulong ibalik yung Philippine history sa high school. And in fact, meron tayong actually ngayon completed version ng ating position paper / alternative curriculum na mag-i-include ng Philippine history sa high school level ng K-12 curriculum. Pero ito ay undergoing peer review pa from professionals, experts, and pedagogists. After getting their feedback, i-adjust natin ang konti yung papers natin. At pagkatapos natin ma-adjust itong mga documents na to, plus our petition, ibibigay natin sa mga kongresista, sa mga senador, and we will start officially lobbying by then. So yun ang ating main targets for the short term, yung mga projects ng youth officers natin, yung SEC registration natin, at saka yung lobbying process natin in order to return Philippine history to high school. In fact, may mga na-contact na tayo mga, hindi pa pwedeng banggitin yung mga pangalan.
Of
pero
course, syempre.
Di pwede. Pero may mga na-contact na tayo mga tao sa pamahalaan na makakausap natin for lobbying purposes. And I think it looks few, mukhang kakaunti siya, pero mabibigat na trabaho to. So sa palagay ko, tulong-tulong tayo mga officers at members ng movement upang magawa itong mga proyektong ito. Plus, nga pala, may pang-apat pa pala ako na ngayon ko lang naalala. Yung constitution natin, hopefully matapos na natin yung constitution. After the review, proofreading by our very own host na communications director natin, si Kevin Samson.
Swamp. Pero yes, actually, I saw the constitution. Hindi ko pa siya tapos tignan, kaya hindi pa ako makapagbigay ng feedback. Pero no, regarding the lobbying of our position paper and our alternative curriculum sa Congress, meron kaya tayong fearless forecast, ika nga. Do we expect na it will be tackled in our current Congress, or medyo moderate ang ating expectations, and we are looking forward at least dun sa ating susunod na session ng Congress?
If it isn't a presidential election year, my hopes would have been higher. But it's a presidential election year. Papasok tayo sa 2021. By October, magsisimula na yung pagpa-file ng candidacy ng mga tatakbo para sa Pangulo. At of course, during a presidential election year, iba't iba yung mga agenda na magsisilabasan. So malakas yung competition natin.
Totoo.
Although yes, we had contacts with offices from senators and congressmen, I have moderate hopes. Ang kinatatakutan ko lang sa 2021, baka makipag-compete yung ibang agenda ng ibang grupo. Valid din naman yung ibang agenda, pero dahil sobrang magsasabay-sabay, baka ma-drown out yung atin. So that's my only fear. So my forecast is moderate. We're getting attention, but we might get competition from other agendas, movements, etc. because of the impending 2022 election run.
Especially with this incoming 2022 election, this candidacy year, ika nga, no? And I'm sure many legislators will start to file and try to finish up some bills and laws na nakasalang, no, para sa kanilang mga agenda for the year, para just to be safe kung sakaling in the next election ay hindi pala rin, at least yung mga plano nila ay nakalatag na. And kung pala rin man sila, at least may pagpapatuloy nila kung ano na yung kanilang mga nasimulan, which is a normal strategy, I believe, in our current political system. Normal yan. So yes, I share that same prediction, no? Moderate, na pwede, we are gaining attention, pero there is competition, especially that many agendas will start to pour out, lalo na't magkakaroon ng bagong administrasyon, so yung priorities magbabago. Kaya yung mga bagay na dapat matapos ngayon, I'm sure mamadaliin na ng ating mga legislators for now.
Yes.
Meron pa tayong mga katanungan, pero siguro at this point we'll have a break, and we'll be right back shortly for a few announcements. Stay tuned, mga tagapakinig. And we're back after those few announcements. So hopefully nakakuha kayo ng mga snacks ninyo sa pakikinig, tubig, nakapagtubig, kung sino yung kailangang mag-CR. But we're back. So just a recap, kanina pinag-usapan natin kung kailan nga ba nagsimula itong movement na ito, kailan siya nag-spark, ano yung trigger point, kung kailan nagsimula yung advocacy, and pinag-usapan din natin ang mga current activities ng movement such as the youth events na nakalatag for this month and in coming months, the lobbying of our position paper and the alternative curriculum in Congress, the SEC registration so that the organization could be legally recognized, and the constitution that is being ratified for all the members. And marami pa po tayong napag-usapan tulad nung si Jack the Ripper, favorite ko talaga yan eh. Si Rizal was Jack the Ripper. Talagang one of the best. I follow that. I know it's wrong, but I'm following. I want to know what happens to that. Na talagang
Alam mo, urban legend talaga siya dati. Ewan ko bakit I think itong pagtanggal ng Philippine History sa high school, ito yung nagpalala eh. Meron na yan dati pero kakaunti lang naniniwala dun. Dumami lang ng dumami. Ewan ko lang ba? Ito lang siguro pagtanggal sa Philippine History yung dahilan. Diyos ko.
Diba? Talagang ano eh. And to be fair, no? Parang I think nahuli ba si Jack the Ripper sa UK?
No,
I think
hindi siya actually.
Hindi, di ba? Kasi we don't even know if Jack the Ripper is real. Which is why so wala, it's a fun urban legend. Pero para po sa ating mga listeners, kung meron tayong mga kabataang nakikinig ngayon at nagpa-follow sa idea na si Rizal ay si Jack the Ripper, hindi po. hindi po. Or,
Diyos ko!
sige, wala pong ebidensya na si Rizal ay si Jack the Ripper. So, kung gusto niyo pong gumawa ng fan fiction regarding that, go. Pero the keyword, ladies and gentlemen, fiction. Kathang isip. Okay?
Sa Wattpad sila gumawa ng fiction.
Sa Wattpad, pwede kayo. I fell in love with Jack the Ripper. What? But anyway, mabalik tayo. So, napag-usapan natin ang nakaraan ng Philippine History High School Movement. And napag-usapan din natin ang kasalukuyan niya. Pero siguro, pag-usapan natin, what future does the movement see for itself? Ano ba yung vision natin for the future? Yung nakikita natin. Especially, siguro, kasi at the moment, ang goal natin is maibalik ang Philippine history sa high school. Yes. What happens to the movement when we succeed in that endeavor? Pagka naibalik na natin ang Philippine history sa high school, do we just fall apart or ano yung ating mga next steps?
Well, you have to realize, yes, Philippine history is a vital point of our movement, but we also advocate for Filipinization o pagsasa Pilipino ng ating humanities and social sciences education. Okay? You have to realize the humanities and the social sciences is not regarded, comparatively speaking, compared to, say, for example, STEM or the businesses, etc. We hope to strengthen the humanities and the social sciences education and application of the humanities and the social sciences. At palakasin ang isang edukasyon na nag-i-encourage ng maka-Pilipinong humanities and social sciences. So I foresee the movement evolving, transforming into a movement that will advocate Philippine history, the humanities, and the social sciences by the Filipino, for the Filipino, and at the same time, protect it at the educational landscape. Kasi kahit may balik natin yung Philippine history sa high school, who would say, baka 20 years after that, baka may magsabi na naman, tanggalin natin ito ulit kasi baka wala ng space for etc. 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 So we need a movement that will protect the humanities and the social sciences and promote it further. Okay? And I can see it two ways. Okay? One way, isa siyang movement na magpro-promote as a means for education and perhaps even promote employment in the humanities and the social sciences. That's number one. Number two, isa nakikita kong patutunguhan niya in the long term, probably down the line, 10 to 20 years from now, I can see it as same as, are you aware of Agham Party List?
Yes, there is.
It's a party list that advocates science education and anything related to the STEM in Congress. I can see a humanities and social sciences party list, comparatively speaking.
Ooh.
At yun yung parang gusto kong punta ng movement natin. Ipagtanggol ang humanidades at agham panlipunan, isang makapilipinong humanidades at agham panlipunan upang mas malaman natin ang ating sarili at mapalakas natin yung ating community spirit, nation building. Dahil doon sa education natin mapaparamdam yung ating pagiging isang bansa. Kung wala yon, iwalay tayo. So I see in the future as an organization that promotes humanities and social sciences education that is Filipinization, and at the same time a party list that will protect the humanities and the social sciences at the legislative level. So yun yung nakikita kong parang patutunguhan niya in the long term. Pero matagal pa yun.
And it's very important to note that we're not really competing with the sciences, with the businesses, but rather we are complementing the businesses and
That's
the
true,
sciences. No? Tamang-tama lang na, syempre, hindi naman pwedeng puro science and puro business lang. These aspects in our society should also have a human aspect. Kailangan makatao ang ating pagturing sa lahat ng bagay. Hindi pwedeng puro science na. Meron nga akong isang kaibigan na nagkwento na if you are knowledgeable with the sciences, pwede mong buhayin ang mga dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Pero if you are knowledgeable with humanities, you will know why that is a bad idea.
Yes.
Dahil and rightly so, 'di ba? I think more than technology, more than scientific endeavors, more than economy and business, kailangan meron tayong human aspect. Because lahat naman ng mga bagay na to na ginagawa natin is towards the betterment of nation, but more importantly, the betterment of humanity. So, ayan po, no? Siguro, Mr. Ignacio, sa puntong ito, kung meron tayong mga final words para sa ating mga listeners na nais ninyong banggitin, we will give you this opportunity to give your parting words.
Thank you, Kevin. Kung kayo po ay nakikinig ngayon, for sure, kung kayo ay nakikinig ngayon, for sure, most likely kayo ay member or sympathetic kayo sa advocacy na ibalik ang Philippine history sa high school. Pagpatuloy niya lang po yung pakikinig sa podcast na to, pagpatuloy niyo yung pagsuporta sa aming Facebook page, at pag kami pumunta na sa Kongreso, suportahan niyo po yung aming movement. Dahil sa palagay ko, malapit na natin magawa itong ginagawa natin. Mas sa katuparan itong ginagawa natin na ibalik ang Philippine history sa high school. Maraming pang pagsubok. Aminin ko, maraming mga hindi pa nating alam na baka mangyari at ma-impede o mapabagal pa yung ating ginagawa. Pero sa palagay ko, umaarangkada tayo. Kami po yung nagpapasalamat sa inyo at sana ipagpatuloy nyo yung support sa ating adhikain para to sa ating bayan upang maisulong kasaysayan, humanidades, agham panlipunan upang mas makilala natin ang sarili natin at mapatpidibay natin ang ating bansa bilang isang Pilipinas. Isang Pilipinas na may pagpapahalaga sa kanyang kasaysayan, sa kanyang bayan, sa kanyang pagkakilanlan. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, sa inyong suporta.
Maraming salamat din po sa inyo, Ginoong Ignacio, at maraming salamat sa ating mga tagapakinig. Sana po ay meron tayong natutunan sa gabi na ito. Muli, ako po si Kevin Samson at ito ang Historyl, ang katotohanan sa ating kasaysayan at lipunan. Abangan po ninyo ang aming mga susunod na episode. Pero sa ngayong gabi, mamamaalam na muna tayo. Paalam at maraming salamat.
Salamat po.
Alam!